All right, welcome back to the third episode of Screening Out. I'm Jalen Kroger. I'm joined by my co-host,
Dixon, Janney.
Apologies, we lied. Last episode we said there was going to be a double feature. That's on us.
It snowed.
It did snow.
It got rough out there.
So that's why we couldn't watch a movie. So we had to stay inside because of the snow.
Yeah. But we are so back. We are so back.
We're back better than ever. We're both dreaming huge, dreaming big.
Schwap!
But let's talk about the two movies we're covering. We're covering the two sports movies that are in the Best Picture noms. We got F1 and Marty Supreme. Let's start with F1.
So with F1, we actually got the pleasant opportunity to watch that film together. Sorry, pulling back the curtain a little bit. Usually we watch them separately and then talk about them together. But this one, we actually, I find, mostly we might butt heads a little bit when it comes to the films we watch, but I think we're pretty much in agreement on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that every single episode I'm bashing on one movie, but I think this is the one movie that deserves it more than any of the other ones. This movie blows, like plain and simple. It's so boring. It runs through all the generic sports movie stereotypes within its like way too long runtime, 2.5 hours of nothing.
This movie changed me. Usually I go into movies, I'm like, I'm going to try to find the good and like focus on that. This one, I really did try for a little bit. But about 40 minutes into this 2.5 hour movie, I was surprised that we were just scratching the surface. There was many points where it felt like it was hitting the like climax, and then we would be like, well, how much is left? And then it was like an hour or like 2 hours. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that this movie has going on for it, and that is probably widely recognized across the board, is that it's a very technically well-made movie. The sound design is really good. Obviously, the production value is super high. They got the Apple and F1 budget. They got that Saudi money. But shout out Busta Rhymes. I won't say the song name because I don't know how offensive it is. But it looks great. But there's some shots in this movie that are very questionable. They do this constant pan inside the car where they pan from the driver to just like the front, but nothing's going on in these pans. It's always just dead space.
Yeah, it's that whip pan kind of thing, and they abuse it.
Mm-hmm.
It like the cuts in this movie, once you start to notice how quickly it's cutting, are almost nauseating. And it felt like rather than making the races look fast, they chose to make the like camera movements like super quick, which in movies like Requiem for a Dream, it works fantastically because that movie's supposed to be like really stressful. But in this movie, it feels like they just found something and we're like, we're just going to keep using this over and over again because it's kind of fun. And it's not fun when you do it 20 times.
Yeah. This movie got nominated for Best Editing, which is atrocious. The thing with the Oscar noms for Best Editing is that no one notices editing. That's like the thing. You're not supposed to notice it. So they give it to the movies with, that you can visually tell is edited differently. And those happen to be bad movies. I don't think this is probably going to win it. It's kind of an abomination that it was even nominated, if we're being completely honest. And what you're saying about it making you nauseated. Yeah, dude, this movie is like kind of gross to like watch after a little bit. It just moves way too quickly and you can't grasp anything that's going on. There's some moments where they do like a long shot, like it's far away and you can see the cars going around. And I was like, that looks so much better, but they didn't do that until the last like 30 minutes.
Yeah, they saved it for the most impactful race. And I was like, I would have been way more locked into this movie if we were doing this the whole time instead of whatever was happening in those first two.
Let's talk a little bit about the story in this movie. It's a little dumb that the story is, oh, the young guy crashes. Oh, but he's fine now. And then they get mad. And then the old guy crashes. And then they get mad. And then they're fine. What are we doing? Like, I don't care. This movie, we brought this up so many times when we were watching this in the office. This movie is Cars. It's the movie Cars, but worse. Like, way worse.
Mm-hmm. They took Cars, they boiled it to the sum of its parts, took the bad stuff and then added more fluff. And it just really like even to compare it to Cars, if this movie was actually Cars, Brad Pitt would not have won. The spoilers, I guess. Brad Pitt would not have won the final race. It would have been Damson Idris pulling, like, Brad Pitt gives up his, ego and sends Damson Idris, and then Damson Idris wins. I was super excited for that to be the finale and be like, okay, there's the redeeming quality. But then they just reward Brad Pitt again. And it's like, I don't know, the whole movie is kind of like old white guys from America can do it too.
Yeah, and Brad Pitt's kind of like an a-hole in this movie. He's not really like a nice, likable guy.
No.
And we're supposed to root for him. And he's just like, they portray him as the annoying, brash American, and that's all the character really is. And it's like, well, why am I supposed to? I'm just supposed to root for him because he's American and old and washed up. Why would I do that?
Yeah, I felt there was a lot of things that this movie could have done better. And after watching it, I'm very surprised that it's getting a Best Picture nomination. Peace and love to the Apple Corporation. I know they're listening to us through our iPhones right now.
Let's talk a little bit about the acting in this movie. Damson Idris gives a fine performance. Brad Pitt is good as always, but nothing here is really blowing me away. It's just a fine movie.
Yeah. It honestly felt like it was kind of like the safe pick for Best Picture, so that way people didn't think the Oscars went woke. I think it does have very good sound. I think it does have a good shot at winning for sound design. But I'm kind of taken aback at the amount of other awards it's nominated for.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be mad if it wins sound design. I don't think that's a bad award to win. But just seeing it among the other 9 nominees just kind of makes me like a little sick. Makes me throw up a little bit.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that we should maybe touch on in this movie?
Nothing that really stands out to me, I don't think.
Apple, you need to start giving these huge budgets to like good movies instead of race car propaganda.
Yeah.
That's my main takeaway from this movie.
Take it from us.
Yeah, take it from us, the experts.
Yes.
Let's talk about we talk about American Pride a little bit. Let's talk about a movie where it's really highlighted in a powerful way. Let's talk about Marty Supreme.
To just start off, you know Marty Supreme as the ping pong movie. And Schwab and Orange. It's much more than that. I honestly I knew I was getting myself into something good, but I didn't realize where exactly it would be taking these turns. And I'm not mad. That movie it's a great movie. I loved it a lot.
Yeah, Marty Supreme is my movie of the year for 2025, and that may be a hot take for some people. I know not everyone enjoyed Marty Supreme, but ever since I've seen Uncut Gems, I have been a Safdie Brothers, fanboy. I love Good Time. I love Daddy Longlegs. I love Marty Supreme. Did not like Smashing Machine. We're not talking about that movie today. But Marty Supreme is one of those movies that only comes around like once in a lifetime, a little bit. And that may be high praise for this movie, but there's not going to be another movie like Marty Supreme in decades, I can think.
Yeah, I kind of going into it, I do agree with that. I think that there will be movies that try, but to fully encapsulate everything that Marty Supreme was, it's almost like capturing lightning in a bottle in a way. I think that it is probably, I would not be surprised or mad if it wins Best Picture.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll win Best Picture. I hope it does. I think One Battle's got it, but this movie it's just special. It's firing on all cylinders, and it's not missing in any category. The acting, Timothée Chalamet is incredible. All the non-actors in this movie are great. Directing, Josh Safdie knows what he's doing. He's locked in. The script is tight, and just the cinematography is also great in this movie.
Speaking of kind of like the tight script and like everything regarding that, it's kind of interesting because it has just about the same runtime as F1, but it feels about half the length. Like it feels like you're reaching the end and you're like, I can't believe we're already here. And like so much happens, but like you're just wishing there was like a little bit more. And kind of with Timothée Chalamet's acting, I think he did a really good job at portraying kind of this delusional, like, I'm the guy. And it really is just fascinating at how they turned ping pong into something that had me on the edge of my seat basically the whole time.
Yeah, and I think speaking on that, ping pong, I think generally by most is kind of considered like a joke sport. A lot of people wouldn't even consider it a sport. So I think using the lens of this guy who is so tenacious and dedicated to like a ridiculous table tennis. He's addicted to table tennis and he's willing to do whatever it takes to go the lengths of it. Like that's just incredible to me. Like that you can, package this a real good American underdog story besides F1. F1 sucks, by the way. Let's lay it out plain and simple. F1 sucks. It's not a good movie. It's not a good underdog story. Marty Supreme is both a good movie and it's both a good underdog story. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, so you go.
No, that's okay. I do think that kind of in packaging these two movies into this episode, we knew exactly what we were doing here, unfortunately. But at the same time, when you have two movies that have so similar talking points, I guess, it's hard to not compare them, especially when they're both up for the same award. Mm-hmm. So it might sound like we're really digging into F1, partially because we are, but also when it's just so overshadowed by Marty Supreme and it follows the same kind of formula, you can't help but like really dig into the one that missed the mark.
Yeah. And they kind of like, I won't say they hit similar beats, but they kind of have like a broad strokes similar story. It's just the similar arc, I would say. It's very, if you kind of squint your eyes, I'm not saying they're the same movie by any means, but Marty Supreme just does it so much better. Like there's not one thing I can think that F1 is doing better than any other movie in the Best Picture noms.
Mm-hmm. I agree. One thing that I'm not sure you'll necessarily agree with, I think Marty Supreme, honestly, especially kind of near the end when he's trying to, get the money to, go to Japan, it almost felt like Pulp Fiction in a way, especially like the like shootout really kind of felt like it reminded me of Pulp Fiction in the same way it made me feel like, oh my God, like this is insane what's happening. And it's like, I've never seen something like this unfold this way. Mm-hmm. That was just like my immediate thought in the theater is like, this feels almost a little bit like Tarantino.
For me, I thought it felt like Scorsese. I feel like the Safdie brothers are very heavily influenced by Scorsese, but this movie really feels like Mean Streets. It feels like Wolf of Wall Street. They got like a similar vibe, especially in the sense with Wolf of Wall Street. These are both modern American movies that are they're going to be classics. Wolf of Wall Street's already a classic, but Marty Supreme will be a classic in a decade.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. We will be talking about Marty Supreme for years to come as film buffs. It will leave a lasting impact on the film industry, which I feel like really is what you look for in Best Picture nominations. And I feel like, honestly, as we kind of have gone through all of these movies, it's really interesting to see to try to kind of guess what the Academy was thinking in nominating these.
Yeah. With this movie, lock in Timothée Chalamet, Best Actor. I don't think he's really competing with anyone out there.
Yeah. One thing I will touch on is I think, the elephant in the room, Tyler O'Conma, Tyler, the creator, is in this movie. I'm going to be honest. I wish he had a little bit more of staying power. I wish he was in it a little bit more.
I'm going to disagree. I thought Tyler's performance, I thought he was fine, but if some of the stuff he was saying felt too modern. He was saying things like he wasn't in the 1940s, which I don't know. It's a weird gripe to have, but I was just like, you're just Tyler, the creator. You're not your character.
That's fair. I can see where you're coming from with that. I do. I'll give you that one.
I also want to talk about, I don't know which one of them, but one of Penn and Teller is the guy on the farm with the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. We could sit here for hours and talk about the non-actors in this movie. They're just all incredible. Like, everyone is incredible. What's his name? Damien?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. He got found from a Side Talk video. He's incredible in this movie. Yeah.
It's honestly just a testament to Josh Safdie in the way that he was able to kind of direct these people in a way that allowed them to kind of bring their own personality into the acting while also still portraying the character that he wanted for his film. And I think ultimately, like, part of it, you know, not necessarily being able to pull a performance out of somebody, no matter who they are, but more catering who you're looking for to what you need and kind of having them only have to fill in a couple of gaps really makes it to where it feels like all of these characters are real.
Exactly. This movie also, the score, incredible from, I don't know, it's Daniel, I don't know if it's Lopatin or Lopatin, I don't know. He's incredible. He did Uncut Gems also. And also just the choice of soundtrack in this movie. Using 80s New Wave. I love 80s New Wave. So this was great. There was, I think, 2 New Order needle drops, Tears for Fears, and then the This Is What You Want. That was sick.
Yeah.
Oh man, I sat up in my seat. I was so locked in.
Yeah, I feel like kind of watching the movie, there was points where I felt like I wasn't entirely sure the message they were trying to get across. But as soon as Boys Don't Cry played at the end, I was like, it all immediately clicked and I knew exactly where I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to be feeling. And also, I'm just going to touch on my favorite scene. After he plays ping pong at the event in Japan, him getting his flight canceled and everything, and you're like, well, how is he going to get there? And then him stepping off the plane with the U.S. soldiers. Oh my God, I was literally dying in my seat. I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what you want from what this movie is trying to tell you.
I loved that scene because it like kind of touches on this idea of what Marty thinks he is in his head. He thinks he's on this level of these U.S. soldiers because he defeated a Japanese guy in ping pong, but he's really just like a dork.
Yeah.
But there's another scene in this movie that I feel is even more emblematic of this idea of who Marty Mauser is. The Holocaust hunting scene. I love this scene. Marty obviously sees himself in this guy. I forget his name, but the Holocaust survivor. He sees this like himself in him as like when he goes out to get the honey and he comes back and he lets everyone lick it off of him. He sees this idea of him going to play ping pong as this self-sacrifice, like he's actually doing something important with his life. And he's coming back. He's going to come back and feed his family, but he's really just selfish in everything.
Yeah. I think the big kind of central idea that I kind of had while I was watching this movie is this hole can't possibly get deeper. And then it somehow gets 30 feet deeper. I was like, oh my God. I was stressed out. I'm like, how is he going to possibly fix all this? And then he doesn't. And it truly encapsulates this, like, I'm not sure if this counts as a word we would have to censor. Marty Supreme is a chud.
He kind of is. He really thinks he's the guy. He's not the guy.
He is not the guy. There are so many people around him that are like truly like self-sacrificing and like actually like important and like trying to do things to like better the community around him. And he thinks that he can solve all of that through ping pong, and it never works, but he continues to try. And at the end of the day, you got to give him a little bit of credit for that. It would have been nicer, obviously, in a perfect world if he was able to fix everything. But dang, he just like really goes for it.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to wrap things up. So do you have anything else you want to add about Marty Supreme?
That was the best Christmas gift I could have ever received.
Marty Supreme is movie of the year. I guess it's movie of last year. If you haven't seen it, go watch it immediately. Don't watch F1. And if you do, watch it on 1.5 speed because there's no point in watching it, actually. All right. Thank you guys for watching Screening Out.
We'll catch you next time.